let's talk a little bit about Jamo and CeeDee Lamb here. So I've got a question for you guys in the chat. Let me pull it up. But Eric, you've been a Jamo supporter forever.
Yes.
Okay.
Way before his breakout. Yep.
So here's the question: Will Jamo have a better game than CeeDee Lamb?
All right.
That's the question.
You want me to answer that question?
I want you to answer that question.
All right. Here we go. So far this year, Jameson Williams has 13 receptions. CeeDee Lamb has one more game, but he has 25 receptions. He's the number one, the clear number one. Jamo's the clear number two right now. Jamo in 4 games has 289 yards. CeeDee Lamb has 378. Jamo has 2 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb has 2 touchdowns.
Just do me a favor. I just want you to answer the question. We're just give us your answer,
right.
and then if you want to support it with stats, you can.
So Jamo's averaging 22.2. CeeDee Lamb's 15.1. So I'm going to go with the averages, and I'm going to say that Jamo is going to have a slightly better game. Right. And CeeDee Lamb has not had a 100-yard game yet this season.
Jameson makes the catch. Jameson makes the catch.
All right.
So go barely with Jamo.
All right. I like where your head's at. And I'm glad that you're starting to support it with some stats, because a lot of people put out these takes and then they don't support it.
Yep.
Now let's review some of his stats a little bit. So you started to run down, some of what's going on here with CeeDee Lamb and Jamo. So I found this cool little site that gives me a little bit of a matchup breakdown.
Yep. And
you were right on it. So fantasy points, right now CeeDee Lamb is 13th. Jamo is 33rd. Points per game, CeeDee is 19th. Jamo is 26th. Now, the biggest point that you made, or you're starting to make, is that Jamo is a game behind CeeDee Lamb. So you kind of have to take the stats with a little, grain of salt here, because I'm not saying that Jamo's going to have 12 catches in the game and catch up to CeeDee Lamb, but CeeDee Lamb is also the number 1 wide receiver on this team. Jamo's number 2, number 3 at times.
Yeah, and if you average what Jamo has done through the first 4 games and take one more game and add that to it, just average, he's doing better than CeeDee Lamb.
By which measurement?
By average yards. And then he would have more yards than CeeDee Lamb. So if you added what his average yards were.
So right now, Jamo's a bigger big play threat than CeeDee. So CeeDee is averaging 15.1 yards per catch, and Jamo's averaging 22.2. So if I'm gonna go through all the positives about Jamo. So when I say all of these stats right now, they're all for Jamo, and they're better than CeeDee Lamb. So yards per reception, long catch of the season, 20 plus explosive plays, yards per attempt in rushing, and long in rushing. And that's about it. But on the other side, for CeeDee Lamb, you've got receptions, targets, yards overall, in rushing, attempts, yards, and then miscellaneous 5 games to Jamo's 4, fantasy points 76 to 56, fantasy points per game 15.3 to 14, snaps 287 to 229, snaps per game dead even 57, points 100 snaps 26.6 for CeeDee, 24.5 for Jamo. So to Eric's point, if you average in a 5th game, Jamo is doing better than CeeDee Lamb in a lot of measurements right now. A lot of different metrics, if you will. Sorry. So what else do you want to add to that?
Well, Jamo had one egg of a game.
One egg of a game?
Yep, against Arizona. He crapped the bed. 1 reception for 9 yards. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that was against Arizona. But we didn't need him. We ran the ball, right? That's how we won that game against Arizona. We ran it down their throat. I don't think we can just run it down their throat against Dallas. We're going to have a little more even of a mix, kind of like we did against the Seahawks. I see
you
having
sure about that?
I think yes, I am. I think we have to have a game plan very similar to what we did against the Seahawks. I think Jared Goff has to have an efficient game, and I think Jamo needs another one of those 50-yard touchdown plays, because against the Seahawks, he only had 2 receptions, but he had 80 yards and a touchdown. If we can get that kind of production out of him this week, heck yeah, I'll take it all day.
So you're expecting more of a balanced attack versus the Cowboys, a little bit of run, a little bit of pass.
And a little closer to 50-50, maybe 60-40, 60% run, 40% pass.
Well, that's kind of opposite of what you just said. So are we running more? Or are we passing more?
More equal, a little bit more run than pass, but very similar to what we did against the Seahawks.
So here's what I'm going to say. I have zero, absolutely zero, no respect for the Dallas Cowboys defensive line going into this game. And I know that's a pot shot because they've been playing well the last couple of weeks. Even given the injuries that they've had, the Dallas Cowboys have been playing well. The other factor to this, on the offensive side of the ball for Dallas, I have no respect for their offensive line. And I will tell you right now that this is going to be a bigger defensive game, I feel, than it would be an offensive game. But it's matching up to be a grounded, pounded kind of day. My prediction, and I'll get to it, might shock you with how many yards I think the Lions are going to run on the Cowboys. And we'll get to all that in a few moments. But I feel like the Lions are in a good position right now defensively. And when I show you or go through some of the stats that I found, it could be a crazy good game for the Lions. And I hate to do that to myself because when you look at the stats, you're like, oh my God, we are going to eat these dudes alive. Mm-hmm. And we've said that before. We said it last year against the Seahawks. We've said it against Kansas City to open the season last year because they were down so many offensive linemen. And look, it didn't go as planned. So we still won the game against Kansas City, but man, we got destroyed by the Seahawks. So sometimes the stats only tell part of the story. And I think that's something I've been saying all season. And coming from a stat nerd, it's hard for me to say that. Here's where they're the same. Okay. Here's where CeeDee Lamb and Jamo are the same. They both caught a few fines after week 4. CeeDee Lamb he drew 2 different fines from the NFL front office. He was fined for 2 separate plays in the week 4 win over the Giants. It was announced Saturday that he was docked $25,324 for an unnecessary roughness call that was not considered a penalty during the week 3 loss to Baltimore, which cost him $22,511. So CeeDee Lamb is being targeted right now by the NFL with fines. The first incident from last Thursday's 20-5 win to draw the league's attention came after a first quarter catch by Lamb to gain 10 yards. After being tackled at the Giants 30, Lamb motioned with, the finger guns or whatever they call it, and the NFL didn't like it. So he got fined for that, and then they considered it a violent gesture. Cost him $14,069. And then he was also fined $11,255 for taunting. So taunting and the unsportsmanlike conduct being a violent gesture. Wow. Man, players have been doing that forever. Forever. And
they're trying to put a stop to it.
It has never been a problem. Now, Jamo caught a couple of fines, or at least one.
One, yeah.
And that was for dunking the ball over the goalpost in his shout out to Calvin Johnson against the Seahawks. So both players were the same in week 4, causing trouble, which is fine. This is not called the no fun league for nothing. I mean, it's the no fun league at times. So I would really like to know, did we get any yes or no answers in the I don't see any yes or no answers. Maybe they have to put it in the chat. I forgot. I didn't put up a poll. I put up a Q&A. So yes or no, Jamo has a better game than CeeDee Lamb. Start throwing some predictions in there. How many yards do you think? How many touchdowns? How many catches?
Yeah.
I'm interested to know what you guys are thinking here. So let's talk about PFF real quick. What is PFF saying? Let's find out. So Jameson Williams, PFF, right now, he has had 24 targets on the season. Here, let me get these lined up together. Come on. All right, he's had 24 targets on the season to CeeDee Lamb's 38. He's had 13 receptions to CeeDee Lamb's 25. He's caught 289 yards to CeeDee Lamb's 378. But again, to Eric's point, if you take that 289 and divide it by 4 and then multiply it by 5, he's only behind CeeDee Lamb by 17 yards.
Yeah.
2 receiving touchdowns apiece. Now their PFF grades are damn near identical. Overall, Jamo's a 69.7. He's better than CeeDee Lamb right now at a 66.1. In receiving, Jamo's a 70.8 to CeeDee Lamb's 68.2. And in rushing, Jamo's a 66.5 to 62.7. So right now, if you were to judge everything off of stats, Jamo deserves a bag. He's having a good season so far. I don't remember if CeeDee Lamb had any injuries to get off the season. Like if he started off, you know what I mean? If he started off the season a little bit hampered. I don't remember if he did or not.
No, he's just been having a down year. And You want to know what this guy did in fantasy football in the beginning?
Charge, ready for the fight. Noble hearts and steadfast pride. Detroit spirit, we wear it white. Feel the drive, hear the crowds embrace. Rock on, Detroit Lions will rise. With a heart full of dreams and the fire in our eyes. From the past to the future, we'll claim our own. In the hall of the brave, we'll proudly have grown. In the city, where the roar meets the night, the Lions charge, ready for the fight. Noble hearts and steadfast pride. Detroit spirit, we wear it white. Feel the drive, hear the crowds embrace. Rocked on, Detroit Lions will rise. Rocked on, Detroit Lions will rise. With a heart full of dreams and the fire in our eyes. From the past to the future, we'll claim our own. In the hall of the brave, we'll proudly have grown. With every game, we rise and unite. Feeling the passion igniting the light. Through highs and lows, we'll stand as one. Our legacy, a tale that's just begun. Together